Gently close your eyes. Try to observe your entire body for a while. If you're sitting on a chair, keep your feet totally grounded. If you're sitting in Swastikasana, keep your legs crossed and all body weight shifted to your glutes. Now let's make efforts to make ourselves tall by the vertebral column by working anteriorly, lifting the pubis up, lifting the navel up, lifting the thoracic cage up, pushing the shoulders widely and nicely at the back, bringing the shoulder blades together. Bring down your shoulder joints. Press it down towards earth. Make your neck nice and tall. Tuck your chin in. Do not pop your head out. Relax the back of your head, crown of your head. Relax your eyeballs. Now, after having gained an enormously better posture, switch your awareness to the inner center. A center of absolute stillness. A center of all resolve. A center of absolute peace. Surrendering all our thoughts, actions, and speech unto this divine Almighty. We'll chant 3 Omkaras. Inhale. Om. Om. Listen to the Dhyana shloka. Parasharyavachaha sarojamalam गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम् नानाख्यानक केसरं हरिकथा संबोधना बोधितम् लोके सज्जन षट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद् भारत पंकजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसि न श्रेयसे. Simple palming. The essential purport of previous episode was to identify whether am I a karmi or a karma yogi. Analyze oneself to be a karmi or a karma yogi. What is the stark contrast between the both? A karmi is a person who is affected by the odds and events of life. A karmi is a person who is influenced by the success and failure of his work, of his action. A karmi is a person who thinks that if he strategically plans, proposes an action, he will definitely gain the respective outcome that is being expected by him in his head. On the contrast, a karma yogi understands well that karma phala, any outcome of the action, always depends upon his sincere efforts, yes, but also a factor called prarabdha, destiny. This destiny is not something that which is proposed. This destiny is again an element which we have created through our actions in the past. It can be past actions of this life or previous lives. Now when Karma Yogi has this perfect understanding, clarity in this concept, when he starts an action, the pure intent behind even starting an action would be blessing all, benefiting large masses of people. That is one. In due course of action, he will always have this perception that this action can go wrong, can fail, because not only my sincere efforts will influence this action. Hence, he is never bothered about success or failure of the action. He is uninfluenced with the odds and events of the life because of his perfect clarity over the understanding. To choose a peaceful living, to have an in-depth understanding of this life. We have been blessed with this life. We're given a name, form, a tag. And then living without even understanding, living carelessly, or living without any care towards, without any innate awareness towards this life is the biggest failure. So we'll choose to be a karma yogi, having this emotional maturity. I call this as emotional maturity of accepting all odds and events of life, all whites and blacks of life, sometimes even gray, blemished, tainted with both. So there were questions in the discussion which many of you people weren't there, so I would like to quickly point them out and then move to the most important shloka of today. There were questions regarding emotional maturity, accepting the blacks and whites of life. How do we perceive this awareness? How do we gain this acceptance? Now we will copy what a karma yogi does. Now that is very easy. Like copying our friend's assignment in the school. Oh, you did it better. Let me take an inspiration. How did you write? Something like that. So let us copy how a karma yogi does this. How does he hold this acceptance? he perceives life in a different manner. When there is a negative, imminent outcome happening, he tries to analyze what is that I gain from this negative thing. If it is an insult, he tries to sort out whether I can gain anything from this insult. If there is a failure, he tries to perceive, can I gain anything from this failure? I gave an example of that surgeon, a great heart surgeon, cardiac surgeon of India, who was questioned by an interviewer, asking him, what is the secret of his success? Where he replied, good judgments, right judgments. And then the interviewer was very curious. How is that you get right judgments all the time? Oh, he said, that's experience. I've got plenty of patience. And again, she was curious. "Eh? How did you get plenty of patience?" Then he replied, wrong judgments. Do you understand the word wrong judgments? It is at the cost of life of someone. But how did he take his failure to be? That anguish of death by a patient, death of a patient by his hands. How did he take it? He took that as an opportunity to become something else. Now, I was examined by the new course that I was doing. So Aarti was telling, oh, ma'am, now that you did this mistake, now you will remember forever, and you will not do this mistake again and again of tying the rope and knot in a different manner. Anyways, coming back. So how do I gain from my mistake? How do I replenish myself in a different manner from a failure? That is the approach of a karma yogi. Not more of a professional thing, but he is more into spiritual gain. What is spiritual gain? Spiritual gain is gaining that discernment between permanent and impermanent. What is permanent in this? Nothing in this life is permanent. No near and dear loved one is permanent. No situation of your life is permanent. Now, this is what he will see. Okay. If there is failure, if there is an insult, if there is an error, is it influencing me or making me more steady in my discernment? This is spiritual gain. This is the right attitude, right approach towards life. Why? Why should I always secure 100 out of 100 in every action? I can fail. You fail. Okay, no problem. You struggle, you fail, you get insulted, you feel the pain, you feel the anguish, you cry or you get angry. Lovely. But the problem with us is that we've got this one wonderful life, and this is time. We are wasting every event of not gaining that maturity, wasting that time, accumulating more karma, accumulating more bondage. And just live lifeless like any animal. Shrimad Bhagavatam says time is everything. Time is swabhava, time is karma, kala is swabhava, kala is karma. Time is God. Why it is said time is God? Because at those events of life, if you don't perceive the opportunity to gain spiritually, you've lost that event. You've lost that time. You've lost being a little more matured from that event. You lost that opportunity. Ramana Bhagavan was asked by a follower how to be stable. So, I'm always with these oscillations of mind running up and down, here and there, everywhere. My mind is in all places. How to gain stable? He replies, to think is not your swabhava, to think is not your real nature. No, the follower didn't understand, the disciple didn't understand. At one point in the kitchen, he was angrily talking to the maid who was making the food. Ramana Bhagavan came inside the kitchen and said, "Stop there. Take a pause. Look at yourself. Who is angry? Who is getting angry? Who is being triggered? What is the cause of being triggered?" Okay. The cause of being triggered, me getting angry. This was the reason. Everything seemed to, when you lost that moment, when you lose that moment, not meditating upon, not introverting upon that particular event of krodha, of anger, you've lost the opportunity of going inward. You've lost the opportunity of having a spiritual gain, having that emotional maturity. Hence, Ramana Bhagavan very, very aptly, accurately glided into that kitchen and made him understand, made him realize. That's how a compassionate guru would be. So essentially, in the previous episode, in the previous shloka, we are all flown by, taken away by strong, powerful sense organs, because mind is that angry, hungry tiger which always want to roam around the forest of sense pleasures. If you are a spiritual seeker, if you really want, I'm not taking us to a state of spiritual seeker. You've not achieved that line, that status. I should not talking about you. I should be talking about me, myself. I'm talking here about me, myself. You're not that. I'm not that. But at least making an effort, a mindful effort, more so ever, a mindful effort towards any event that triggers you, towards any event of events, of odds of life, of odds of life, and understand whether how am I reacting or responding. That would be the approach of karma yogi towards sense pleasures, and spiritual gain shall be from now our goal, and not material gains. Material gains, I don't mean money, money, power, status. No. Material, anything other than spiritual gain is material gain. Anything non-spiritual would be material, because this belongs to this world. So that's the thing. Now, the next two shlokas, I would be taking much time in this episode. Very sorry, because it is lengthy. It needs mental pauses to understand. Hence, it would be lengthy. Please bear with me. 2.62, 2.63. These two shlokas gives a picturesque of the germination of sorrow. Why am I troubled? Why am I sorrowful? Why am I repentful? Why am I angry? Why all these negative qualities suddenly emerge out? What is that real cause, that root cause, huh? That seed cause of all such nonsense in my life? That has been clearly, categorically, step by step, like an algorithm. I remember learning basic language of computers. It is not even in place now, but it had a kind of flow chart, which we had to write in computer science subject. So this is something like that, a flow chart. From this emerges this, from this emerges this, from this emerges this. So a picture skew or a flow chart of trouble, of life troubles. That is what we're going to see. My God, ma'am, you're going to be negative. Why is Krishna being negative here? No. Only when you know the flowchart of troubles, you'll be able to be out of it. We'll also know how to reverse it back with right attitude. That is what we're going to learn today. Hence, I'll take some more time. It's going to be lengthy. ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः सङ्गस्तेषूपजायते सङ्गस्तेषूपजायते सङ्गात् सञ्जायते कामः सङ्गात् सञ्जायते कामः कामात् क्रोधोऽभिजायते कामात् क्रोधोऽभिजायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशः बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति. First, we will comprehend the literal meaning of these shlokas. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha. Pumsaha means people. So it is the people's attitude, people's common behavior, common pattern that has been discussed. What do they do? What's the common pattern? Dhyayataha vishayan is the pattern. Continuous brooding of thoughts. Continuous brooding of thoughts. Vishayan dhyayataha. Brooding of thoughts over sense objects. Which are sense objects? Book is a novel, is a sense object. Fragrant candle is a sense object. Yes. But sense object is also your body. Body's saukhyam, body's care can also be sense object. Mental pleasing. If somebody appreciates you, you get pleased. You get overwhelmed. Oh my God, how much care has been given. That is again sense object. Okay. So sense object is not its object. Hence I gave this example. Dhyayataha Vishayan Pumsa. Sangasteshu Upajayate. What happens? That's the second item in the flow chart. Because of constant brooding of thoughts on sense objects, what happens? What leads? What is led to? Attachment is led to. When you continuously think about something, this is very important, Nico. It is good that you are taking notes. It is very important for any yoga teacher to know this flow chart. Why so? When you counsel anyone, this is how you should start with. Okay, coming back. Attachment is being led. What is attachment? We think love is attachment. We think doing our responsibilities and duties for the loved one is the right thing. Again, it is an attachment. Why attachment? I'll come to that a little later. Just hold it there. Okay. So attachment. Attachment is not love. Attachment is purely expectations. It's so-called love. So whenever you deliver the duty or responsibility towards the loved one, what happens imminently? Expectation insurges. Flow of expectation, I should say. Like the Niagara Falls surges in. Okay. No. I wasn't expecting anything while I was doing the duty. Okay. In a relationship between the consort, the life partners, male delivers his responsibility, the female delivers her responsibility. Very nice, peacefully. All things are set, rightly done. Everything, the life vehicle is going good, running smoothly. All of a sudden, he picks up a fight, she picks up a fight. And then what happens? I did that to you. I've spent so much on you. I've showered so much on you. What is that you're doing to me? Or even if you forget, it will come. So you don't forget what you've done to anyone, to any person. And then while you do the action, you don't forget because of that expectation within you. Hence, the love is not real. It is just attachment. Okay. Clarified. Let me move ahead. The third item in the flowchart. What happens with attachment? Sangat sanjayate kamaha. My God, I am taking you back to step 2 and reminding you one another thing. Step one was constant harping on sense pleasures, right? Step 2 was attachment. I'm going to tell you one thing in this 1 and 2. They are vice versa too. Attachment can also lead to constant thinking, constant brooding upon sense objects, sense pleasures. So 1 and 2, the flowchart arrow marks should be downward and upward also. Now, step 3. Sangat sanjayate kamaha. When attachment prevails in any relationship, it's just not just a relationship. I've taken that example. So I'm continuing with the same example. Please bear with me for that. In any relationship, when attachment is prevailing, slowly what comes up? Kamaha. Kamaha is equated to lust, basically. But it is not just lust, because relationship can be anything, right? It can be from between you and your mm, colleague. It can be you and your boss. It can be you and your maid and the helper, the assistant. So it is not lust every time. What is the quality of lust? The quality of lust is intense. Lust is lust because it is very severe, uncontrollable. And there is a sort of fierceness in this feeling. Yeah. So kamaha here is equated as desire, which is lust like, very intense, severe. Intense, severe desires. What sort of desires? Let's take that same example. In a relationship between the consorts, the life partners deliver their own duties and responsibilities with expectations, which is very evident now. Slowly, even when you don't need anything from each other, you're financially independent, you're secured emotionally, your mind start to germinate desires of things which you don't really want, which are severe, which are intense, like the woman having desires of going for a vacation this summer, even with or without the knowledge of the consort's plans. And then slowly, on the other hand, the male consort, the husband of this relationship or the boyfriend of this relationship, whoever it might be, starts to desire for having a simple thing, for having made his lunch every day. Now, do you understand what is happening? There are desires, there are things that we desire for, which we don't really need, which is not the need of the hour, which can be managed without those desires, but start to germinate, which is very intense, very severe, like lust. What is wrong in it? To get packed lunch is wrong? Is it not her or his responsibility? Is it not a right dharma? Next in the flow chart, kamat krodho bhijayate. The lust-like desire brings out anger. What is this anger? Anger can be anger towards others. Anger can be anger towards self. What is anger towards self? Frustration is anger towards self. Now, this side of the coin, that side of the coin, either it is head or the tail. Everybody is injured because of anger. Hanumanji in Valmiki Ramayana says, a person who has anger, what sins he cannot commit? He'll commit all sorts of sins. He can even betray his guru. He can even kill his guru. He can even use filthy words, insult good people, sages, saints. So anger is a major issue. Towards you, towards others is a major issue. Now, anger is the child of desires. Why? How does Bhagavan know that anger is the child of desires? When those unwanted desires, not the ones which are the need of the hour, even without them, you can live with, you can live happily with, you start to lose control over those desires because it is so intense, so severe. You feel that they are necessary, they are wants, they are your requirement. When those desires are unaccomplished, when they are not met out, when they are not fulfilled, you start to get angry about yourself or on others. Even pathetic, even tragic is having both, which leads to major heart related issues. I'm taking this into something else, to yoga therapy subjects, but this is not mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. But it's just a correlation. Ischemic heart disease, angina, hypertension, hypotension, everything is because of this anger towards others or anger towards you yourself. So you can't just snip out of anger. If you have to do it, you have to first kill the father, the desires, the root cause. Providing justice or just thoughts towards desire is the biggest foolishness one can ever make. This thing has to be acquired, this thing has to be accomplished because this is dharma. No. Dharma can be perceived as two. Dharma means the righteous thing, the right thing to do, the right thing to think, the right thing to speak. Dharma can be only two. One, self-realization. Two, serving all. Serving all without any ulterior motive. Desire, you analyze any desire, the root of the desire is always against dharma. It is not related to self-realization, definitely, evidently. It is not related to any aspect of benefiting society. Never it is. So showing justice towards having a desire is foolishness. So kill the father. Work on the father. Work on the desires. Okay, coming to the next thing. Sangat sanjayate kamaha. We think that anger, kamat krodaha bijayate, is the tragic thing. But the most tragic thing is the next one. Krodhat bhavati sammohaha. From anger comes delusion. What is this delusion? What is the dictionary meaning of delusion? Seeing or perceiving, feeling something which is not really there. It is completely non-existing. Yeah. But seems to be true for you. Having pains in body seems to be true for you. Go to your doctor. Says nothing, is just stress-based. Work on your stresses. Work on your stresses. He just gives medicines to sedate you, sleep. That's it. Again, I'm giving this example in continuation with this relationship example, nothing more. Delusion, in the literal sense, is this: feeling something, seeing something, understanding something which is not really there, which is untrue. But Krishna is not talking about this delusion. Krishna is not talking about this delusion. Close your eyes and try to take a pause of your life, entire life. Let that reel, reels are the in thing now. Let that reel before you. Which object, which person, which situation is really existing? Point out that person, point out that object, point out any one situation which really stands for long, is always there, continues to exist in the period of time, never having been changed, never transformed. Gently open your eyes. Did you arrive at any answer? Do you ever think about the horn of a hare? Horn of a rabbit? No. Why? Because it doesn't exist. Unless until now, you try to imagine horn of a rabbit. Do you ever think about um, the well-being of any distant relative whom you just met once or twice in life? How is he doing? Or you care to think about in your life? No? No. Why? There's no string. So your mind is manufactured in the manner that it doesn't think about anything non-existing, like the horn of the hare. It does not think about anything which has no strings, which means it can think about what you feel that is always existing, what you feel strongly for, completely attached with. To a sadhaka, to a sage, to a jnani, the entire world has no real existence. All objects inside this world, all people in this world, just as you momentarily observed with your eyes closed, arriving at no answer. A jnani perfectly realizes this, that no person in this world, I can harshly beating on this table say, no person in this world, even your parents, even your child, whom you feel the most nearly, the most knit, will stand for you. Any situation which is lingering on will linger on for some time and then get absent all of a sudden. So no situation is permanent. So that is also untrue. An object that is always with you. You think your body is always with you? Doesn't your body employ changes? Are you the same in your Google photos 10 years back? Forget 10 years, 1 year ago. Are you the same? A jnani perfectly realizes this. He is never into this delusion, sammohana. Moha. This adaptively wrong thinking. We are getting adapted to that. Wrong understanding, sir, not wrong thinking, wrong understanding. Adaptive wrong understanding. Nice. Nice definition. So Jnani doesn't get into that vicious cycle at all. Now, where are we? We are always in that. We are every moment, forget every moment, every spur of the moment of life in that delusion. Anything wrong event happens, oh my God, we're deep into that ocean. This is the most tragic thing, Krishna says. The most tragic, the most idiotic, the most foolish thing. Even after having observed, even after having realized that with number of slaps given by life, we try to adapt ourselves back to scale 0, thinking that, why is he doing that? Why is that like this? Why is this? Why me? Some moha, delusion. Anger leads to this delusion. You can preferably understand this as forgetting that spiritual, long-standing remembrance, smriti. What is smriti? The memory, the world outside me, even what I think me to be. Everything is untrue. That should be the strongest memory in our life. But what are we doing? Sammohat spriti vibramaha, with that strong delusion, adaptively wrong understanding in all situations of life, we try to lose that memory, that spiritual memory. Eventually, we are finished. We don't understand the lurking problem, the imminent danger of life, with that risk of losing the memory. Oh, it was very impulsive. It was at that spur of moment. My God. We just understood the importance of that particular moment, that particular moment of odds of life. Only at that particular moment you can torture your ego and then understand, oh my God, this ego is not me, this mind is not me, this intellect is not me. Mere intellectualization can lead to failure. This body is not me. Carrying this body will lead to failure. What is that I have to suppose to do? Repose in self. Is it that difficult to live peacefully with your inner peace? Unblemished by the taints, the sins, or outward influences? Is it that difficult? If it is difficult, we have become complex. This is the complexity. This is that vicious cycle that Krishna is pointing out. How complex and complicated we have turned out to be, and those tall claims that I'm intellectual, I'm matured, I'm responsible, I deliver actions, I deliver good actions, this is how I have to be treated. My God. I'm very sorry for an intense session. This is how it has to be. This is how these shlokas will lead us to. Unless until we don't relate us to this, the shloka, we will be the same dog tail. You try to oil it, bring it down, will come up again. कुत्ते की पूंछ सीधी नहीं होती, we say in Hindi. Will always be curled up into that vicious cycle. Smriti Vibramaha is a serious issue. It is not just losing memory. Oh, where did I keep my keys? Oh my God, where is the cell phone? Please, someone help me ring my number. It's not that. It's the innate spiritual memory of everything is impermanent. And this life is a great event. Reposing this event, anything triggering you is a reminder that you have to go sit inside that beautiful spiritual lab in a peace, right under that beautiful tree of life, banyan tree, not getting influenced by anything. This is not meditation. Is this not meditation? You have to specially sit for meditation. Do you need any guidance, guided meditation for that? Do you need yoga nidra for that? No. Your life is giving all the opportunities. Isn't it not? Revel in that self. Let the mind surrender. Oh my God, how is this possible? There's so much havoc created, so much of oscillations. Okay, let's face that. Let's be that strong sailor. I used to tell that in Manish's satsangs, when he started with the satsang. Thanks to Manish, I have to remember him. Because he was the one who wanted to have satsangs, Sunday satsangs. And that's how it started. Not with Bhagawad Gita, but with basic questions, problems of relationship, which is again in our YouTube. You can go and find out what is ego, how to subdue ego. Simple questions. All the satsangs, all the good listenings should lead to constant, not harping on pleasures, sense pleasures or sense objects, not on untrue things, but towards spiritually inclined lessons. This is manana, contemplation. And manana should lead to application. There should be an application value. Nobody will regard you if you're not a good teacher. Nobody will regard you if you're not a good at your job. How are you good at your job? Because you have that high application value. You know things, you know how to apply it. Yeah, that's how you gain supremacy. Similarly here, gaining supremacy over your mind by surrendering unto that inner peace, reposing in self, is supreme yoga. Parohi yogaha manasas samadhihi, says Shrimad Bhagavatam. Another scripture which says, supreme yoga is annihilation of mind. Can the mind be thoughtless? When I say thoughtless mind, everybody gets scared. My God, you're making me dead. They don't even realize that in Nidra, in the deep sleep, they're not dead. Mind is annihilated with thoughts, reposed in self. Just that you're not aware. So you live with annihilated state of thoughts. You don't have to get scared about it. Losing this spiritual memory is the most tragic thing. Getting angry once in a while, getting fearful, crying is all fine. Even thinking is fine. Krishna says that again and again. Even thinking is fine. Because thinking is the very nature. But repeated thinking, Serious problem, my dear. Why, how, and why should I stop repeated thinking? There was a question, I got reminded of that by a student who asked me, how and why should I stop repeated thinking when only repeated thinking leads me to success? Repeated thinking doesn't lead to success in profession or in any part of your life. It's just not profession. Only execution leads to success. Repeated thinking will take away all the energy and hence you feel drained. Why do you feel exhausted? People come with me, lots and lots of problems. I'm exhausted, I'm drained, I'm stuck. What's the reason behind it? Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha. Continuous, repeated thoughts. It's not continuous thoughts, repeated thoughts. Suppose there's one thought. Let us let us grade it as, name it as thought A. The thought A in that day, in that one day, becomes A to the power of 2500. When I had a chance of lecturing upon this mind and thoughts to the Rotarians, one woman stands up funnily telling me, forget A to the power of 2500, ma'am. I have all alphabets powered up to infinity. What should I do? First thing is to do something about your thoughts. Repeated thoughts. The thought A, thought B, thought C, thought D. My God. What's the use? The use is harming, injuring yourself. The use is harming, injuring, becoming a nuisance to the people around you. You call this as a utility? Do you call this as a use? This is what continuous repeated thoughts can do. Creating attachments in life, attachment powering up, steering up thoughts multifariously. All of this happens because of letting go of that spiritual memory. Vyavasayatmika buddhi. What we saw in the second chapter a few months ago, that resolve, that nishchaya buddhi, that resolve towards discrimination. We all teamed up to listen to that satsanga, teamed up for some higher goals in life, anchoring ourselves to something. Yes, that is why we are here every Sunday. Relinquishing buddhi, relinquishing this resolve, relinquishing vyavasayatmika buddhi will be the signed doom to our contract. We doom ourselves eternally with this relinquishing, sacrificing of resolve. When there is trouble, I am troubled. When there is fear, I am fearful. That is not a problem. When there is trouble, I cry. I cry for months because of the trouble that happened in last October. This is a serious trouble. I am angry for years. This is serious trouble. It's not because of people around. It is not because of the situation. Sorry. It is because of your failure that you have sacrificed that resolve. Nishchayatmika buddhi, the Vyavasayatmika buddhi, the resolve to hold on to that discrimination which discerns this is not true. This is impermanent. And worrying, fearing, getting troubled, getting insulted, getting pinched, inviting all sorts of disorders, physical, mental, is not because of people around. It's not because of same situations. No. Teedum nandrum pirar daravara says Purananuru. I don't know how to date that book. Okay. It is a Tamil book which dates unimaginably back. I don't know even it might be the oldest one, which says anything that is good or bad happening is not happening externally because of external causes. It's all internal. There's a headache, there is you. Find out what went wrong with me. If it is stress, find out. Where did I repeatedly think? Where did I miss to snip that off with the sword of jnana, the sword of wisdom? Why didn't I do it? Sorry to have stuck in this. Moving ahead. Sammohat smriti vibhramaha. Loss of memory happens because of loss of spiritual memory. Happens because of this delusion. And what happens? Smriti bamshat buddhinashaha. The resolve is gone. Vyavasayatmika buddhi is gone. We have signed up with a promise, with an intention to this contract of life. This life, however impermanent it is, the nature of impermanency, it is. I'll try to utilize all the time to meditate upon self. I'll try not to give myself away with the flow of the externalities. I'll try to become stable. That resolve, that buddhi, that discrimination. Okay, what if this is lost? It seems my history is being retold in the shloka. What happens when Vyavasayatmika buddhi is lost? I seem to have lost this discrimination, Lalita. And everything is doomed. Buddhi nashat pranashyati. Total destruction happens. You eventually fall into the suffering of samsara. What is this suffering of samsara? Old age, disease, death. Death doesn't stop it all. Death is not closure. Even death cannot close the suffering of samsara. Only moksha, only liberty, freeing yourselves can free this suffering. Why? Because the problem will still lurk on even after death. Why am I born like this? Why do I limp? Because of previous karmas. Nothing is forgotten. Everything is jotted down, recorded in the diary. Very well manifested in the next birth. Why my parents are like this? It was you. It's very easy to simply accuse of external things. That's what a karmi does. Hence, I started with the distinction between karmi and a karma yogi jnani. Am I doomed? There is no way out. This way out, my dear. Hence, I'm going to take another 20 minutes of yours. Yeah. Take a long, deep breath in. Exhale. Inhale again. Exhale. Inhale again. Exhale, aligning yourself at the center and quietly listen to it. Adi Shankaracharya, the compassionate Guru, gives us that. What is that medicine that reverses everything back? Antidote. I got that. That's the word, antidote. Antidote to this line of suffering. How did Krishna start? We'll take every step in that flow chart and give that antidote. Satsangatve nissangatvam, nissangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nischalatatvam, nischalatatve jivan muktihi. Adi Shankaracharya with his beautiful verse, absolutely amazing verse because of this very antidote to the life suffering, to the samsara that he mentioned, Bhajagovindam. Everybody knows Bhajagovindam, OMS Subbalakshmi. It's very popular in India. There's more to Bhajagovindam, more verses to delve upon. Anyways, Satsangatve. What is the first part of the shloka? Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha. Constant harping on sense pleasures, sense objects continuously, repeatedly. Shankaracharya says, Satsanga. Please be with the company of good people. What is the company of good people? I don't find good people, anyone around. My God, where and when we have become Duryodhana. You know that story of Mahabharata? Please listen to her. Dronacharya, the guru of Pandavas and Kauravas, was asking the leader of Kauravas and Pandavas, the eldest son, to go around and look for the most evil person in the world. He called up Yudhishthira, the first son of the Pandavas, the brother of Arjuna. And he goes around, takes a few months, few years, comes back to the guru saying, I don't find any evil person. He calls up the leader of the eldest son of the Kauravas, of the 100 ones, the evil ones are in the group, which is Duryodhana, and asks the question, go and find out the most good one. He goes, travels months, perhaps even days, comes back saying, I didn't find any. To be very particular, all fun and jokes apart, to be very particular, good people are those who are spiritually strong. who are karma yogi by nature, any failure happening, they will always perceive the failure to be, what is the spiritual gain that I get? Any bad name, mistrust, any misluck, bad luck, misfortune happening, he will always be happy, untouched. Doesn't worry about anything, bother about anyone who speak bad. Just give me a moment. Laptop is losing power. Again, showing impermanency of the device. Everything needs power here. Company of good people is being with the people who are spiritually strong, who are basically jnani, have this emotional maturity of accepting goods and bads equally. Satsangatve. What will it do? It will minimize repetition of thoughts. That's the first step. Huh? We are doing the antidote of the first step in the flowchart. What's the next step? Anyone? Next step in the flowchart? Attachment. Constant repetitive thoughts leads to attachment, and vice versa, it fires up constant repetitive thoughts also. What does Shankaracharya? Satsangatve nissangatvam. When you are with good people, not only you minimize the number of repeated thoughts, you gain control over repeated thoughts, you minimize A to Z to the power of infinity, to A to F to the power of infinity. But also, this will lead to nissangatva, detachment. What is the opposite of attachment? Detachment. What is the state? State of no expectation. Tell me, when will you expect? When you're a beggar. You beg for love. You beg for power. You beg for money. When don't you expect? When you're strong, confident, always peaceful, even with meager things, even with few people around, even with very little good situations around. You're happy, contented. Aren't you the one who is supreme than the others? You don't expect from anyone. I get calls from people. Why don't you call? You care for nobody. Huh? I say, I don't give a damn call to my kids also. 7 days, 8 days, months, sometimes. I don't even get to speak to my kids. That's the practice of detachment. I honestly made it a point that I will not speak to my kids. Let them grow by themselves. My kids don't stay with me. Everybody knows this. This is the honest detachment practice that it, to a certain extent, physical spacing also leads to emotional spacing. This does not mean that we are not providing any care. When they are here, all care. When I am there, all care. All love. What does continuous calls do? Continuous repetition of thoughts. This guy said that aunt said this one replied with this. My God, all gossips of life. What are we doing? Are we carrying each other? No. Just spreading the information. Nisangatva. When does it happen? When you're with good people. When you're with good people. When you're with scholars. When you're with sages. I don't find good people. Take Ramana Bhagavan. Take his treatise. Open it. You're always with him. You want to talk to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, his treatise is there. Go. Adi Shankaracharya, oh my God. Lots and lots of Shastras. Try to be with them. Take Vairagya Dindima, take Viveka Chudaman. Why will he complain? Why will you complain? There is no one around. There are good people. Will teach you detachment. Satsangatve, Nisangatve. Nisangatve. What happens with detachment? What happens when you go expectationless? Nirmohatvam. There is no delusion there. No delusion. Delusion is forgoing that memory of discernment, discrimination. It will constantly be there. I happened to see Rama in every odds of my life. What will Rama do here? What will Rama do here? What will Sitamma do here? Huh? It's very easy to copy and paste. How did it happen? Continuous reading of Valmiki Ramayana. Satsanga. Being with good company. What do I gain from Rama? Is that the most fiercest tragic moment of his life was one night before he was being informed that he will be coronated as the prince of Koshala kingdom. You know what Koshala kingdom from Afghanistan till there was a continent called Kumari Kanda beneath Sri Lanka too, on those times. So India is not simply called a subcontinent. It was really a subcontinent then. Anyways, so prince of such a huge, it was an empire. It was the emperor. Dasharatha was the emperor. It was not a royal, just a king of a princely state or something. No. It was an empire. He was supposed to be that coronated prince of big empire. And the same night, he's being called, yelled upon by his stepmother. The father who was hours ago mentioning that you would be the royal prince, and I'm going to have the loveliest part of my life by seeing my apple of the eye getting coronated, and all those flowery words, all those appreciations. That guy, that father, is simply whimpering before the queen. He's not able to speak. He's bounded by his promise. He's not able to speak, not able to stand for that 25-year-old guy. What a strong slap he should have got. The father who can give heart and soul, such prema, such bountiful love to his son. That's how he has been all these years. Dasharatha always, Rama, come here, let me hug you, let me sit on my lap. He doesn't see. He's a 25-year-old teen. No? So he kisses by keeping him on the lap before people. Huh? Such bountiful love coming from a person at one night, within hours, can change. If someone else was there, he would have been fierce, angry, in rage. That's how Lakshmana was. Lakshmana was startled. He didn't even understand what's happening. Later on, his rage comes up. What is this? What the hell just happened? Valmiki Bhagavan is capturing that moment. He is simply clicking the face of Rama, the young prince, with a smartphone, and giving it in the shloka. Nachasya mahatim lakshmim rajyanashaha apakarshati lokakantasya kantatva chitarashmeri vakshapa. His face shone like Sharatkala Chandra, the autumnal moon. Was he practicing before mirror? That some day doom will dawn upon me. Let me try to smile beautifully. This is how I have to smile. Oh my God, there's some wrinkle. Let me smile a bit more. Did he practice? Did he practice that shine and smile in his face? No. He was a karma yogi. He was a jnani. He knows every action can turn up anyways. What is the spiritual gain I'm going to gain? It didn't even influence him. It didn't even influence him. Nissangatve nishchalatatvam. Detachment is pure love without any expectation. He understood that even it is dearly loving Father, he can also be different at certain situations. Let's not expect things from him. Such detachment, such heights of detachment made him stable. Nishchalatat. Nishchala means there was no randomness. Made him stable. How was he stable? Stable in the heart, aligned with the inner equipoise. How do you know? The next verse. Dharayan manasa dukkham. That was sorrow. It was sorrowful for him. Why? It was his ambition. To serve the society was his ambition. His ambition was snatched away from his hands. With all cheat, there was no just. There was no just. Why wasn't he revengeful? Why wasn't he angry? Because of the truth. I have to lead a truthful life. The truth set by Father. He is the king. He is the guide. He is the guru. Hence, I will keep up his truth. If I go untrue, all the citizens will copy me. Even Lalita, who is going to come. See how far he has thought. Why was he stable? Coming back to that question. Tarayan manasa dukkam indriyani nigruhya pravivesha atmavan vishma. He held his sorrow. He restrained all his indriyas, his sense organs, who was towards the sense pleasure of having the kingdom. He went inside the room of mother because the mother, the queen mother, has to be informed about this news. She had her dream. She had her ambition was also to see Rama coronated. The well fit, the just king, So he has to give the information and then only leave. So he is Pravivesha, he is moving inside the room. How, again, Valmiki Bhagavan is clicking the photograph of Rama from inside. That he can do, huh? He's a sage, he's a rishi. And then saying, Atmavanu, because he has reposed his mind unto self. Atmavanu. He reposed his mind into Atman. Nischala Tattva, stability in mind, stability in emotions, emotional maturity, sensual mastery, mental mastery, yoga, whichever you call, happens only when the mind surrenders unto inner peace. At times of unjust, at times of odds, revel in peace. Delve in peace. Nischala Tattve, Nirmohatve, Nischala Tattvam. Now, what happens with this stability, inner stability? In due course of time, all the opposite things happens in his life. In every odd event, he showed that same inner stability. Rama showed the same inner stability. Yesterday, I was counseling a woman who was saying, I went to this Hanuman temple looking at Rama, Sita, and Lakshmana, was just wondering how many obstacles this guy had in his life. Unimaginably. We used to call stress, this was stress ladder in his life. It was not easy. No easy. So she was saying, how come this person was so stable? Bless me, Rama, to be you. That's what the woman was saying. Wonderful. Anyways, coming back. Let's everyone be blessed by being Rama. Looking at Rama, following Rama. Coming back. Nischala Tattve Jivan Mukti. Only when at all odds you continue to remain in that Achaleshwara, Achala Sthiti, in that stable state of mind, you are free. Moksha is in your hands. There's no suffering. Oh, you need to die for that? No. Jivan Mukti. You live when you be free. No karmic bondages. No death for you. No disease. No old age. How? What's the proof? Rama lived for thousands of years. My God, are you kidding? Valmiki Bhagavan clicks the picture, records in the Valmiki Ramana Shastra, in the scripture, saying that Rama with his consort, with hundreds of sons live. Hundreds of sons means sons and grandsons. Sons, hundreds of sons lived for thousands of years, not 1,000 years, thousands of years. Hence, even in Indonesia, even now, any prince, any king who is being coronated, who takes up the kingly regime, takes the surname of Rama. In Bali, again, it's the same situation. Why is Rama praised? Because of his character, because how he lived, how he showed his stability on all odds of life. Bhagavad Gita turned to Ramayana today. Now coming back to the third flow chart. Sangat sanjayate kamaha. What happens with the good people's company? Detachment arises. There, attachment led to desire. Here, detachment led to leads to bhakti. Bhakti gives that inner stability. What is bhakti? Complete devotion with unstaggering faith and respect to the wisdom, to the divine inside, outside. Now, what happens when there is detachment without bhakti? Then you become rude, you become dry. There are people who are detached. How are they? How are they? I don't talk to my parents. This can also be called as detachment. But there is no bhakti. They are dry, they are rude, they are harsh within. Hence, carefully, Adi Shankara says, the detachment, the spiritual detachment that germinates from Satsanga, good people company, will always be coupled with bhakti. So bhakti is the antidote for all desires. When you have bhakti towards Lord, bhakti towards divine, there is no necessity of having any desire. When you always feel complete, what else will you desire for your completeness? You tell me. You will desire anything because you feel incomplete without that. Yes? When bhakti completes you, will there be a requirement of desire? Because this bhakti, this devotion towards divine makes you feel haar bhi haar hai, haar bhi haar hai. Failure is also the garland because it is given by the divine, because it is a prasada of divine. Because he always has this attitude, a bhakta always has two attitudes, Ishvara Arpana Bhava and Ishvara Prasada Bhava. Every action thought is offering. What do you offer to the divine? Broken rice, artificial sandal paste, discolored flowers. No. We offer the best of the best. Right? All actions would be the best of the best when it is offered. Ishvara Arpana Bhava. All outcomes of actions are perceived as prasada. What do you gain from the temple? Prasada. How it is? It is voluminous. You get liters and liters of kheer. Just a drop. How is it? Oh my God, elixir like. So tasty. So relishing. Outcome is always perceived as prasada bhava. Outcome is very tiny that I will take. Because it's shared by everyone. Because it is tiny, it is relishing. It gives in contentment. This is the attitude of bhakti. And this terminates with nisangatva, detachment. Spiritual detachment. Not kama, not desire. So bhakti is the antidote of kama, desires. You feel everything is complete because of bhakti. There's nothing that can outside that you want or require to complete, to make you complete. Now, kamat krodaha vijati. What is the antidote of anger? Contentment. Contentment leads to stability. Nischala tattva. When do you get contentment? Sorry for holding you long. Please take pause in your life, close your eyes. When you were lost, felt that contentment. Don't answer me in Shavasana. Contentment occurs not because of sufficing accomplishment of anything external. One contentment happens when you eat full stomach, you get contentment. But that contentment doesn't stay long. Another 4 hours, 5 hours, you again want meal. Contentment is that which stays forever. Hence I'm saying anything accomplished cannot give rise to contentment. Because there is always another thing in the line that comes up to get achieved. Forget that. Even accomplishment of one particular thing will make you feel this is the quality of the achievement that I wasn't expecting to. This is the essential fabric of our mind. It is never contented. But contentment happens, It happens. And it stays. It stays when mind surrenders to that self. And only through contentment, there is stability, there is long-standing contentment. And contentment is again the antidote of anger. Why are you angry? Why are you angry? Sorry. Why are you angry? You're lonely, you're feeling partial, you're feeling unfulfilling. There's something unsettled, there's something that you didn't accomplish, there is something that you didn't accomplish to the standards. There is something that particular person didn't rightfully do some actions to you. These are the reasons. These happen because of the loss of sense of content. How is Master Shifu in the Kung Fu Panda? He is content. Kung Fu Panda gives him lots and lots of troubles. Doesn't understand spiritual principles. But Shifu is always content. He tries to understand and then he says, okay, do your own. Content. Krishna also ends. Look, I've given you enough advices. Now you do what you want. Can a guru be like that? You do what you want. Why is he like that? Because he's content. Krishna is Rama. He is content. Do what you want. Yatechasi tatha kuru. जैसी इच्छा वैसे करो. Contentment is the antidote of anger. What was the next thing? Sammoha, delusion. What is the antidote of delusion? Nididhyasana, application value to what you listen, what you have contemplated upon. Implementation in life. This is what Aurelia, I'm missing Aurelia today. Aurelia is always with this. Do you resonate this in your life? Because she does that. Is always in that mood. Again, a soul which had led to the path of Manana, and then perhaps she stopped her life in the previous life there, and she took from that Nididhyasana value. She's always in that mood. Am I the part or I am in the part of the whole? She's there. resonating with that principle, implementing that value in life is very difficult to do. Why do you make me do this? In simple answer, yatechasi tata karo, jaise ichha vaise karo maro. Suffering results. Suffering is the result. Because we have seen that flow chart, the lurking danger, the imminent destruction happening. Pranashyati, pranash, satyanash is the word for pranashyati. Total destruction. So, antidote for delusion is apply those scholarly, spiritual readings that you've been doing, those scholarly knowledge, the wisdom into life. Every moment, every wrong event. Somebody comes up after this class, comes up and gives you all sorts of nonsense over phone. Some call comes up. And then suddenly you forget everything. No, don't do it. This is one life opportunity, no offer. There's no other offer. There's no catch here. There's one life offer. You do not know whether you will get a human life or not. It's very, very rare. Again, Adi Shankaracharya points out about the rarity of a human birth. One human birth. Because species are many. We can easily move on to different species with all these bondages, sufferings. Every thought binds, every speech, every word binds you, every action binds you. My God, let me not act, speak, let me not think. Can it happen? Why don't you act differently? Why don't you think differently? Why don't you speak differently? With that anchoring of wisdom inside. This will free you. So the antidote of Smriti Vibhramaha is implementing Nididhyasana. What is the next level of Nididhyasana, Arti? Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. The last stage of Jnana Yoga is Jnana itself. You become wisdom personified. Union with Jnana. Union with that wisdom. Union with that divine. Isn't this positive approach of life? Isn't how we have to act upon every wrong attitude that we hold towards life? The opposite of what we are doing. Vitarka bhadane, pratipaksha bhavane. Holding the opposite of every aspect of life, as every negative aspect of life that we do, think, speak. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Questions?